the size of your cog doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that counts. And that's, you know, that's how I feel about it.
I just want this to be a good film.
If you care too much about this job, it will kill you.
All these franchises that we felt we need to watch, we really wanted to watch, no? And I think, on what did we miss out?
There's a lot of good franchises. I've always enjoyed Bond.
Bond is definitely one, but then Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter, and then MCU, DC, obviously. I haven't watched them all, but I very much enjoy still many of the Marvel films.
I love McDonald's. I love Burger King. I was saying I like The Boys. I love that franchise. I love all the offshoots that they're doing of that series as well.
I got a lot of them. Yeah. I mean, X-Men, Batman stuff. Penguin is great right now. Like, I love the offshoots of that world.
I love Batman, and I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't actually seen any of the others, but I don't need to now.
George Clooney.
I've never seen George Clooney. Yeah.
That is
Is that number one? Okay. I'll watch that.
My sort of gateway was the first Batman, Tim Burton Batman. It was the first film in the UK that was a 12 certificate, and I was so excited for it, and I was 11 and I couldn't get in, and it was like, I still have that feeling of like, this is just so unfair.
Yeah, Joker. Joker for me.
The original Superman, 1978, 1980, Christopher Reeve.
What's amazing, I suppose, about the universe is that you can love that part of the franchise and be like, oh, and I didn't like that version or that version, which I guess is what Deadpool and Wolverine is exploring so brilliantly in the kind of latest film. It's just we all have something that's special to us. My David Banner is from the TV show in the 70s and 80s. That's my David Banner, and obviously I love Mark Ruffalo. But that's when I fell in love with the Hulk and that beautiful 70s kind of analog TV show. So that's the Hulk for me, is a green man in is kind of Louis Ferrigno, and not the CGI version.
Is there a franchise you'd love to be?
X-Men.
I think X-Men is a good one, isn't it? Because there's a lot of options. There's a lot of X-Men.
Like the Four Horsemen part of X-Men, that series.
Yeah.
I'd like to fire the sound.
Okay, you can't do that.
He's wearing the indoor scarf. I thought only directors wear the indoor scarf. Is he mocking me?
We were working with real script continuity, with real, so everybody was looking for the, the party was playing, and so in my case it was Sam. I was even given his holy monitor that he always uses and used for the Bond films, I think. So it felt like a knighthood when I was, carrying his, and it made me feel like an important director. No, it was very helpful to talk to him, ask him all these questions about his experiences, especially on the franchise that he did.
Yeah, we all spoke to our corresponding roles before we started filming, and I spoke to a third AD who explained that the third AD just has to absorb all of the frustration from everyone else in the crew, and just keep things going and have a smile on your face and be like, I'm really sorry about that, we're working on that. And everybody gets to vent their frustrations themselves. So it's quite fun that Dag does kind of vent her frustrations and does just say exactly what she's thinking at any given moment. It's quite cathartic, I think.
Did you find it therapy?
I found
spewing
it. No, I found it not very nice to be so toxic to everybody, playing this narcissist every single day in every episode, unrelentingly. I've only met a couple of real narcissists in this profession, and so luckily, so I draw on them, and I think to live in that headspace is not a happy place to be.
I've drawn many years of being on TV and film sets, so that sort of energy and just knowing a lot of ADs, just because I get on with the crew and I end up getting to know quite a few of them over the years. But I spoke with our first AD on the pilot episode, Barry McCulloch, who really was very generous with his time and sort of gave me a lot of ideas to sort of built into Daniel.
I talked to Jim Clevervice, who's one of our producers, and he was super helpful. And then Julie Pastor, who works with Sam Company. I never talked to her specifically about Anita, but when I was struggling to sort of figure out who she was, I remember having the realization, oh, you never see Julie sweat. And so like, that's Anita's goal, right? She's not as successful as Julie, but she definitely, that really helped me to sort of be like, oh, okay, I don't have to be emotional in every scene.
I don't know anyone like this guy. It was just kind of a composite of what I've heard before from different people, but just generally men in authority positions who aren't afraid to speak their mind. It was just
He plays Sam Mendes, basically.
Oh my! No, John Brown. John Brown runs. He's tyrannical, is he not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Sarcasm. Note the sarcasm, please.
Imagine if we all just lost our minds out here. Jeez. Oh, what's happening?
Yeah, there were challenges early on. You know, the show was finding its feet, and we were sort of new to the Leavesden studios, and I was dressed as a first AD, and people would be asking me, you know, at lunchtime, like, hey, do you know where this is? And I'd be like, sorry, I'm just an actor, I look like an AD, I don't know what I'm doing, that sort of thing. And then there was just quite a few meta moments with sort of, you know, being on set, and you got led to the wrong video village at one point, didn't you? And just ended up at the fake video village rather than... So that sort of thing.
Yeah, everyone was super confused the first week. Before you know everybody's name and know who's working what crew, there was a lot of me asking background actors where things were, and them being like, I have no idea, it's my first time here, because they were dressed like PAs.
I think sometimes it was hard because you didn't really know, at least like when we were doing the pilot, when you don't know everyone yet, you don't know who's background and who is real crew. But then at the same time, you can kind of like leave your water bottle in shot and it doesn't really matter because, you know, there's swings and roundabouts.
How enjoyable was making a satire about your own jobs or the industry that you work in?
Really fun. It was kind of nice to sort of turn around and laugh at the sort of ridiculous aspects of what we do and how it can become just so absurd if you let the sort of snowball gather pace.
It's a blast. We have so many crazy stories from sets. It's nice to sort of peel back the curtain a little bit.
I think very enjoyable. I felt like a sense of responsibility to like honour the work that goes into making these films and like TV shows.
I guess I never really thought about it like that, and I don't know if that's wrong. I kind of didn't really think about it in those terms. I suppose I just thought about it in terms of having a character playing a character within a world. It's fun to play someone who has a very specific, very highly skilled job. And I feel like that I really enjoyed that about playing Steph, because script supervisors are incredibly technical, they're really smart, they've got great kind of maths brains, they're good at organising. So that was a stretch for me in that respect. But ultimately, it's kind of channeling my kind of, you know, SCE, my small cog energy, and, you know, feeling in the end that the size of your cog doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that counts, and that's, you know, that's how I feel about it.
I mean, there is an importance to what we do in creating alternate universes and realities and storytelling, and I really believe so. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. But of course, there's always also a comedy in what we do, because it is such a serious process, but it is not reality. So there's always something to. Every day after, you know, shooting day, when I talk to the real world, to my wife, and you know, when she was working as a psychologist and she was talking about her reality, sometimes it made, you know, my problem seem so silly, you know. So there's always a comedy in that, franchise or not, in the process of moving, and it is endearing and wonderful to see people who are so committed because they love it. And the focus in the show is on the people who don't get the credit for it. Not even that. They don't stand on the red carpet and they're not being paid tons of money, but they do it because they love it. And so there's, you know, inevitably there's a lot of fun in that, tragedy and comedy.